Hey, dude, you ready to do this week's podcast?
Yeah, I'm totally ready. Did you realize that it's episode 25? Do you
It
think that maybe we
is.
should do Yeah, do you think maybe we should do something special for it?
I have an idea. Cue that intro, baby.
The following presentation has been brought to you by HSF Productions.
With your hosts, Jeff and Hey guys, welcome back to IWP, the Impromptu Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Towelie 006. Over to my left, as always, is my brother Damien. How's it going this week?
It's been a really good week and a really good week of wrestling.
Yeah, it's been an awesome week of wrestling. It's been so good this week that we actually have some scoop of vanilla to talk about this week, which we haven't had in a really long time. So, yeah, big week in wrestling.
Yeah, and this is going to be like a 4-hour show, right?
It might end up being 4 hours. You never know with us. But should be noted, we are recording a little bit early, so no spoilers on the Jets game Thursday night. We won't be, we're still going to be putting this out on Saturday, but recording it on Thursday this week. Go Jets, go.
Go Jets, go.
But let's get into this monstrous week of professional wrestling, and we're going to start off with some breaking kayfabe. So, some news that came out earlier this week, I thought it was interesting, and I'm not sure how it's going to affect us here in Canada. But TNT has announced that there's going to be some scheduling changes because of the NBA and, their condensed playoff. They're trying to finish off their regular season. So they're really jam-packing, the games as much as possible as they can down in their bubble in Orlando. So there are going to be some scheduling conflicts with AEW Dynamite, and some episodes in the upcoming weeks are going to be on Saturdays and even Thursdays. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect us. Are they going to be doing the shows live on Thursday and Saturday? Are they still going to just record it live Wednesday and then TNT's airing it whenever they want? We watch on TSN. Why can't we watch on Wednesday? We don't watch basketball up here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, what's basketball?
I think it's a sport. No.
I mean, Canada invented it, but still, this is a hockey nation.
So anyways, for our American friends down there in the South, the Wednesday of August 19th episode of Dynamite will air Saturday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. Eastern. The Wednesday, August 26th episode will air Thursday, August 27th at 8 Eastern. And the Wednesday, September 16th episode will air Thursday, September 17th at 8 Eastern. So it's really mixed up there. It's going to be like 2 weeks in a row that are a little bit mismatched. And then there's going to be a couple weeks in between. And there'll be another messed up week. So I'm not sure how it's all going to go. That's 2 weeks from now, essentially, that this will all unfold. But just for our viewers, if it just so happens that we don't get to watch Dynamite until a Saturday, then the weekly episode of IWP probably won't come out until Monday, essentially. But we'll keep you posted on our Twitters. If you haven't followed us on Twitter, the Impromptu Jeff and Impromptu Damien. Check us out. Give us a follow. All right, next piece of news is I can't believe I'm even reporting this, but Marty Jannetty, formerly of the Rockers, basically the number one wrestling meme, I figured. That's all this guy's good for. You can use his name as a verb, to be Marty Jannetti'd. It's forever been classified in a tag team, who's the Marty Jannetty of the group? Like, it's just, this guy's a meme, and he's not helping his situation out. The other morning, he wakes up and grabs his morning coffee and decides he's going to hit Facebook and confess to murder. Did you see this? Did you read about this?
Yeah, I have read a little bit about it. I mean, it happened with a little bit of prompting from you.
Right.
So I get a text from Jeff saying, you need to Google Marty Jannetty and then just tell me what you think. So I went for a run because I was just about to go for a run, and I come back, and then I'm just like, wow, interesting stuff.
Yeah, so essentially he spews out this story about how when he was 13, he was working in a bowling alley. Some guy was trying to get ornery with him, as they would say, and took him out to an alley, and then basically says, "This is the first time I made a man disappear." When was the second time? Like, what else aren't you? What else aren't you telling us? And I mean, this is coming on the heels. I think it was earlier 2019. He had a weird social media post where he like admitted to having sexual feelings about his like stepdaughter or his actual daughter. There was something weird with that last year. So everybody has just been on Marty's case. Wow. I don't know. And kind of the first thing that popped into my mind is that the Young Bucks have been, we've been making Marty Jannetty jokes on BTE. Kenny Omega was like calling Marty, the whole mixing it up with Marty Skrull to get him into AEW. He calls Marty Jannetty and offers him $1 million. And like, it's just like, what are they going to do with this? I don't know. It's a crazy situation, but Marty Jannetty, man, what's going on?
It's like the Best Friends plot on BTE.
Yeah, almost. He's just taking it a little too real. It's got to keep it kayfabe there, brother. Anyways, so yeah, Marty Jannetty, he's losing his mind, I think, but hopefully. And
it should be mentioned too that like they are seriously going to be looking into this.
Well,
the authorities of whatever county he's in or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody has gone missing, and a cold case might be being opened up. Oh, well, let's move on. This is a piece of news that we missed last week. It had actually broken Friday morning, and I had it in my mind to throw it in the show, but I had forgotten. But it is worth mentioning. The Mad King, Eddie Kingston, is hashtag All Elite after his hardcore match with Cody on Dynamite for the TNT Championship. He signed, put pen to paper. Eddie Kingston is All Elite. I almost said Kofi. It was weird. What do you think of Eddie getting a contract?
I like it. I think it adds a really good heel character to the roster. And I expect to see good things from Mr. Kingston.
Yeah, he's a, for the lack of a better word and no pun intended, he's a raw character. There's really no gimmick. His gimmick is how real he is, in a way. And another guy who's not scared to throw a chair or throw the tax down, that can tangle with Mox and Darby and some of these hardcore guys that we got in AEW. So yeah, it's exciting stuff. And another independent wrestler, who's been given a shot at least. So we'll see what he can do with it.
I think he's going to do well.
For sure. All right, let's move into Scoop of Vanilla. Segment we haven't had in a while, but there was some newsworthy stuff to go over this week. So starting with Monday Night Raw, it was announced earlier in the day that it was rumored, basically confirmed, that Shane O'Mac was going to return to the show. And he had a special announcement. I didn't tune in to watch, but of course, every week my Instagram discovery page, it's always all wrestling. So some stuff started popping up, and I was just like, is it like really? This is what's going on? So I did some digging. The big announcement is that Shane McMahon is basically running a fight club in the backstage areas of the performance center. It's an MMA inspired kind of backstage brawling. They had stripper poles and some girls dancing. It was just everybody in a circle watching two guys fight it out. To me, it sounds much like Brawl for All from back in the day, which there was a really great episode of The Dark Side of Wrestling about the Brawl for All and how stupid of an idea it was. But it seems like they're going to keep this kayfabe. It's not going to be a shoot fight. But they got a lot of, really talented shoot fighters in here. We got Bobby Lashley, who's a legit MMA fighter. Dolph Ziggler is going to be involved. He's an undefeated amateur wrestler, Kent State record-setting wrestler. So, I mean, it's kind of intriguing. What are your initial thoughts on Raw Underground?
It's going to be interesting, and I don't know how they're going to make it seem real, if they're not going to have blood or swelling of the face and the types of things you see at an MMA match. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm sure it is all pre-taped, so they could maybe do some of those types of effects, but are they airing this on TV or is this a YouTube thing?
It sounds like it's going to be a segment of Raw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. Interestingly enough, some of the WWE Universe have, weighed in their thoughts. One being the one and only CM Punk. And he had some thoughts on Raw Underground, and I'll let you decide how to take this, but to me, he's being sarcastic here, but you know how text comes off, but he says, I absolutely loved it. I want to see Nia Jackson there. They should get more women in there. Let us see some bodies getting broken. 3 hours of no holds barred fights, strippers. That's all I want to see. I feel like he's being sarcastic a bit.
Yeah. Well, just knowing CM Punk. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a little sarcastic.
Yeah, and then we also get a reply from the broken one himself, Matt Hardy. Pretty excited for the Fight Club spoof on BTE. That'll happen on BTE this week.
We should also say here, too, that, like, with the announcement of Shane returning, I saw a lot of stuff posted by many wrestlers on social media about how, here again, the focus is on a non-wrestling personality. Even though I guess Shane does wrestle, but still, it's like he's got the limelight when there's, all these, trained professional wrestlers that could be getting time on the TV. So that kind of sucks, but, let's not judge it until we maybe get to see it.
And it seems like he's not participating per se. He's just kind of running it. And the back, behind the scenes story on the whole thing is that this is Shane's idea. He's in charge of it. Vince and Steph don't have any say in how this is going to be booked and stuff like that. So I know a lot of boys in the back are saying this is great because Shane is a little bit more in touch with the locker room and stuff like that. So hopefully by that sense that it will be something worth watching. But mean, I'll definitely give it a shot. I'll watch it on the YouTube highlights or whatever to see how they're doing. Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and one last piece of scoop of vanilla. I didn't get a chance to update the photo. This is a little bit older photo, but it was announced early Wednesday morning that Pat McAfee was going to be on NXT. They were going to have a sit-down talk with Adam Cole and Triple H, and they were going to bury the hatchet. They even took a photo op. They were shaking hands before the show, and it was all released. And then the show happened. Did you happen to catch the video clips that I shared to you?
Yeah, I saw them for sure. I mean, even the fact that he was coming on NXT has to totally prove now that this is all a work. And
for sure. Which, again, I said, if this is a work, this is really brilliant. I really like what they're doing here. And getting somewhat of a payoff here on NXT this week, it was great. Like, I was really into it. I was texting Corey. Yeah. I was like, I told you. He's like, dude, you were right from the beginning. You knew it. So essentially what happens is that McAfee joins the commentary during the Undisputed Era match versus the tag champions Imperium. I believe that's what their tag team name was. So O'Reilly, Fish in the ring. Roderick Strong, Adam Cole are on the outside. Pat McAfee is on commentary with Beth and Nathan Phillips, whatever that guy's name is. And basically during the match, every time they call to Pat, he just takes his chance to cut down the Undisputed Era, cut down Cole. And Beth, I really enjoyed Beth's take in this, and she wasn't taking any flack from him. It was just like, do you even realize what you're saying? Like, you were being very disrespectful to, the wrestlers and stuff like that. And Pat was doing the exact same thing he was doing on his radio show to Cole. And it was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm just here to have fun. We buried the hatchet. And then he'd take another jab. And then finally Cole overhears him calling him an elf. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Cole goes in behind the plastic barriers, gets in Pat's face. I can literally hear you. I thought we were over this. I thought we buried the hatchet. Finally throws some water in his face, and there's a big pull apart. O'Reilly and Fish lose the match. Triple H and Shawn Michaels are out there trying to hold everybody back. And, it looks like Pat's going to walk away, but he comes back just for one more little jab, calls him a 5'0" pussy, I believe is what he said. They bleep it out. And that just sends Cole over the edge. He's trying to crawl over the desk to get to Pat. Pat walks away. He's all tied up, and we get the obvious finisher move of an ex-NFL punter. And he punts Cole right in the face and knocks him out. Cole takes a nasty face bump here. It looked great. And, I like it. I love Triple H in this moment, too. He got right in Pat's face, gave him a couple good pushes. Pat just leaves on his own accord. And what'd you think of all that?
It was really well done by everyone, really. I really feel like Pat is doing a really good job at being the heel. This is really going to turn Adam Cole face. Because I think Undisputed Era at this point are still kind of the heels, right? So I'm expecting that Adam Cole is either going to be moving up to the big show or going to be probably not part of Undisputed Era soon, and he's going to be total face, which I think is kind of where they're going with this. That's my guesstimation anyways. Really good job. And man, if he didn't really connect with him on that, then Pat, this is going to be a good match that these guys are going to have, because it sounded like he really kicked him.
The camera angle wasn't the best in the clips that I saw. I haven't caught any other camera angles, but the camera was kind of behind. But I mean, like, you can tell a guy's body when he swings his leg with some power, and I mean, it looked like he put some weight into it. I'm sure he caught him up in the chest and kept it safe and all that stuff, but still, man.
He didn't leg slap.
He didn't leg slap, that's for sure. You'd still hear it. So anyways, breaking news earlier today, Triple H got on social media and called out Pat McAfee. I invited you into our realm, and you disrespected us. I'm calling you out. The challenge has been set. Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole at TakeOver 30, August 22nd. Just like I said it was going to be when the whole thing happened. So I'm excited. I'm going to have to tune in live to see what happens, because this is kind of one of those matches you don't want to be ruined. And I hope it turns out as good as I feel like it could.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I want to watch it as well.
Sweet. All right, so there you have it. Scoop of vanilla. It's been a while since we've done one, but it was a big one. I enjoyed that very much. All right, let's move on to basically a new segment of the show. The Women's Tag Team Tournament Cup started this Monday, which I thought was odd. I got the social medias sent out Monday that there was going to be matches happening, Monday night. And I'm like, man, we haven't even had the draw yet. We don't know who's tag teaming. But I guess their choice of design or whatever is to kind of have the tag matches matched up randomly on the day of the show. So they kind of did, earlier in the day, this is what kind of happened. It was kind of a whole production, which, I mean, is fine. It worked. But I would have liked to see...
It makes the deadly draw make sense, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But I would still have liked to see who's all going to be tagging together. But anyways, at the beginning of the show, we find out that Penelope Ford was going to tag with Mel, formerly of the Nightmare Collective. And Allie cheats to tag with Brandy. While Dosh is not looking, she gets in there and grabs the matching color, which, when this whole thing started, we kind of knew that Allie and Brandy were going to be the tag team, right? Because they're the tag team. They're the only tag team. Officially, I guess you could say. So, and then the random draw rule comes out, and it's just like, oh, how are they going to get around this? I thought this was great. It works with Allie's, heel character that she's got going on. I liked it.
Yeah, so do I. And I mean, it's maybe a little bit weird as to why she would want to, because she's still making it seem like she doesn't really like Brandy, or really wants to team with her. But yeah, I thought it was a clever way to get them to stay together.
So essentially, this is the first matchup. Match number 1, Penelope Ford and Mel versus the Nightmare Sisters, Allie and Brandy. What'd you think of this match?
Yeah, it was a pretty good match, actually. I thought all the competitors did fairly well. I even thought Brandy looked better than most times that we've seen her. I thought that Allie was the sort of the superstar of this match. She really, character-wise, move-wise, I thought she did really well. So, yeah, I mean, there was, nothing to really highlight in here. It was just a good tag match.
This was basically the matches that they were having on Dark with some of the jobbers. It was basically that same match, except for they had to get worked a little bit, because Penelope is a star, so she had to get her moves in and stuff like that, which we saw. And yeah, I mean, it was decent. It was solid to me. Got a little shaky at the end when Brandy comes in. She was getting a little too excited. She was moving a little bit too fast, wasn't taking her time leading into the finish. She wanted to get it over with. Kind of missed on the spear, but Mel made it look good. Takes the fall. Nightmare Sisters are moving on, which, I mean, I would have predicted if we would have had a chance to do a prediction show. But yeah, it's all good. So let's move on to the second matchup of the night. We already knew that Nyla Rose was going to be tagging with Ariane, as I learned that her name is going to be pronounced Ariane Andrew, which is weird to say, so I'm just going to say Ariane. Formerly known as Cameron on the Vanilla brand. We knew this already going in, that they were tagging together. What we found out is the debuting Tay Conti, formerly of NXT. She was part of the Mae Young Classic, Brazilian mixed martial arts background, very talented young woman wrestler, and she's gonna be tagging with the star of the show, Anna Jay. And I mean, I don't have to say it, this is my favorite women's tag team of all time.
Yeah, I mean, after the show when they do the interviews, Tay even says, we're the most beautiful tag team. Yeah, so
she's not wrong.
What'd you think of this match?
This match was actually really well done. Again, while it was going on, Nyla Rose got in there, and again, she's just got that stigma of selling too much. I feel like she's always selling way too much. But they kind of worked around it where they started working on her knee, and she was selling that knee, so then everything made more sense. So I was kind of cool with it that time, but I thought the match plan went well. Ariane looked great. She did her leg drop split thing, and she got it on right. She didn't call for the count, but she still did the move and followed it up with a pin, which I was like, good for her to, get that out of the way, because I'm sure she had to have known that people still remember. So
yeah, she watches the show, and we mentioned it last time. Yeah. So yeah,
gotta prove to Towelie.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match as well. I totally agree with you about Nyla not being the beast, and I thought a little bit about that as of Mel in the first match as well. She's the big person, but was really taking a lot of licks. But yeah, they made it work, and I thought the finish was really cool. Anna Jay with the flip over Ariane, and
so did you see the tag? Like I meant to go back and rewatch, but it looked like there was a tag. Anna Jay tags Tay in, and then it's like 5 seconds later, all of a sudden, Anna Jay's coming back into the ring and does the kind of the flip over stunner while Ariane is trying to get the pin on Tay. And, even the commentators are like, oh, there must have been a tag. And I was just like, yeah, I don't think there was. Like somebody missed a step there. But I mean, it was still a good finish. It's a cool little move for Anna Jay to do if that's going to be her finisher. I'm assuming these girls were all over social media after the match. They were taking pictures together. They're, again, talking about how they're the most beautiful tag team out there. I'm sure they're working on a tandem finish of some sort that maybe we'll see in the next match. But after the match, Tay and Anna, they're celebrating. There's a moment between Nyla Rose and Ariane. What'd you think of that?
Now this is what we would expect to see out of Nyla Rose.
For sure.
And I like how she, it seemed like they were all buddy, but you could see, they're giving them too much TV time for losing. Gives her the finger, and then just a huge clothesline. Just knocked her right on her ass.
For sure.
So yeah, it kind of redeems Nyla for some of the selling that she did in the match, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. She gets that heat back at least. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I noticed that afterwards, Tay goes in and picks Ariane up and gives her a hug, and these two work together in NXT, so there is a friendship there, I suppose. But I don't think this maybe should have been put on camera, but it was a decent moment, or I guess. We don't know for sure if Ariane and Tay are actually hashtag All Elite yet, but it'll be interesting to see if these two, after the tournament or otherwise, get a longer shot in AEW, and how maybe this is a friendship that blossoms. Who knows? But it looks like Tay and Anna Jay are working. They're firing on all cylinders here, so it was a good start to the tournament. I'm looking forward. I'm assuming this is going to happen every Monday. They said that this was taking place over the next couple weeks, so finals are happening at All Out, which is at the end of the month, right? So excited to see more. All right, let's move on and quickly run through Being the Elite, episode 215, a birthday and a death. And I just have to say really quick that I enjoyed this title before I even clicked on the video. Just with what happened last week, I was like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen. What'd you think of the episode overall?
Long.
It was long.
This was almost a half an hour. It was a monster episode. I thought probably one of the best of the year, or at least in recent memory. Just from start to finish, I don't think there was a bad spot in this whole show. So yeah, really well done. Was there anything that stood out for you in this one?
I really enjoyed this week's 50 plus seconds for the 50 plus. I thought he really nailed the essence of the joke, because the whole joke is, how do we get that 50 plus demographic to come watch AEW? So Matt gets in the ring with his brother and starts doing some old school wrestling, and I just like all the little notes where he's in the headlock, so he gives him the 1, 2, 3, and he's doing all the cliches of 80s wrestling, which the 50 plus would have grew up on, right? Or not grew up on, but at least we're watching. The only thing that I feel like he missed in that whole segment was to be in the sleeper hold and do the.
Oh yeah.
That was the only thing he missed. So
yeah,
I enjoyed that segment. To me, it was the best 50 plus seconds for 50 plus that they've done. What was a high spot for you?
I thought the end with the whole best friends and how they melted it in with the segment before that with Colt. Yeah. I thought that was pretty genius. I have to admit, I didn't even know that cold opening that Matt and Nick did. I didn't even know that was a 50 plus seconds for 50 plus.
Oh,
he was doing the voice and everything, but it was black and white and it was wrestling. And I think in the previous episodes they did an intro for it.
Yeah, where this time, and this time there was only an outro.
Yeah,
he quickly mentions that and that's our 50 plus seconds for 50 plus.
So then I got that segment after it was done. I'm like, oh, okay, clever, but I don't know.
And I like how Matt runs into CD later, and he's just like, hey, what do you think we need to do to track the 50 plus? And CD just loses his mind. He's like, I've only been 50 for a couple months. I don't know what's going on.
You're old AF.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty clever.
The whole thing was good. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. The Dark Order stuff was good too.
Yeah.
What's your favorite chapter in the Bible? Genesis.
Phil Collins. I love Phil Collins. Yeah, Silver. Quickly, the Brody Lee segment, since you bring up Dark Order. I love how they're all in the room arguing still, and hey, what's he doing back in here? And it's actually Jungle Boy, but they all think it's fucking Griff Garrison. And Stu, being the smart one, he's trying to stop them. You guys, that's actually Jungle Boy, but they kept telling him to shut his ugly face up. And they kick Jungle Boy out, and then of course he passes Brody Lee as he comes into the room, and hey, we got rid of Griff Garrison for you. He's like, that wasn't Griff Garrison. I love it.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that would make this segment flawless is if Silver wasn't like smiling, laughing all the time. Like he cannot keep a straight face. But I mean, it kind of works just because he's a goofball. But Dark Order being how does Matt put it? Matt Hardy's the most over thing in BTE besides Dark Order.
Well, yeah, Matt Jackson says, yeah, Matt Hardy's the most over thing in BTE, and then Nick's like, well, except for Dark Order. He kind of just sneaks it in there, yeah. It was all good. I enjoyed, speaking of Matt Hardy, I enjoyed his little spot. He finally follows through. I think I mentioned it last week, how he was talking about getting rid of the gimmicks and just being Matthew Hardy kind of thing. And so he kind of announces that. And then Matt and Nick kind of have these hallucinations where they're individually they're talking to a version of Matt, but the other one can't see it. And then they're in I forget, they did the Damascus part where wait, and he starts explaining a wrestling term, but you don't almost get to hear it. They just kind of have it in the background because now we're going from the third person perspective. Brandon cuts in. He's just like, who the hell are you guys talking to? And they're like, Damascus, he's there. He's telling us about, getting heat or whatever, whatever the term was.
Shoot, yeah.
Shoot. It was a shoot, yeah. So, and they're just like enjoying their time talking to Damascus. I thought it was a clever little bit. But we'll see how that Matt Hardy stuff plays out now that he's Matthew Hardy.
I like how he doesn't want to do the multiverse, but the multiverse will happen through this sort of hallucination. I think it's pretty smart.
Yeah.
I thought the filming of it was terrible, but it's that good terrible.
Right.
That BT does. Yeah. Very clever stuff.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. All right. Let's move on to AEW Dark, episode 45, live from Daly's Place. This happened on Tuesday on YouTube. Not as super duper of a show as we've had in the last couple of weeks, but there was still 8 or 9 matches to go through. What did we get?
Yeah, we had 7. So this is a tiny show in comparison to some of the latest ones. In match number 1, we had Will Hobbs versus Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky going over in this one. And Scorpio Sky doing a bit of a promo after this match.
Yes.
Super serious Scorpio here. Gone is the SU Scorpio.
Yeah.
He wants a title, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that later.
Yeah, for sure.
In match number 2, we had Serpentico and Aaron Solo versus the Gun Club. Did you watch this match?
I did, unfortunately.
I thought it was a pretty good match. I thought the Gun Club, did their thing.
It was a decent match. I kind of noticed that Billy didn't do anything. He got the hot tag in, didn't do anything, and then, kind of got control back, tagged Austin back in, and then, and then he was busy kind of keeping people on the outside as Austin went into the finish. So I don't know if this is, he's just there as a name, get some eyeballs on the product because he's familiar, but he doesn't really want to work too hard. It seems like every time we see him, he's doing a little bit less and a little bit less. I'd be interested to see if we get an Austin Gunn heel turn on his pop and, turn on him and go solo. Because
match?
Yeah, and then a match. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I thought Austin was pretty good. He's better as a wrestler.
He's better as a wrestler than a fan. Yeah, for sure.
In match number 3, we had the Initiative versus Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. or how we like to call them, the Jersey Boys. Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela going over in this one. Loving the Joey Janela beard. Loving his look right now. Sonny Kiss looked awesome. This is a really good match. Probably second best match of the night, I thought.
Yeah, it was really good. And Leva getting involved this time. She pulls a sliced bread on Joey on the outside. We haven't really seen that from her yet. You know, she's been kind of doing the distractions, kind of being involved in different ways, but never getting physical, which I wonder what Brandon will think of when he sees the match back. So,
Right. In match number 4, we had Kylan King versus Abaddon. Abaddon winning this match. I really thought that Kylan King was kind of the highlight of this match for me. I felt like she was really charismatic. She's really pushing to maybe get a permanent spot in AEW. And Abaddon always Abaddon.
Kylan was very enthusiastic with all her moves and stuff like that. Like, she was putting a lot of, emotion and feelings behind everything she did, which really translated through the YouTube screen. I was watching it on my phone at lunch today. And Abaddon, I don't know if I knew this beforehand, but Taz mentioned she's only been in the business for like a year and a half. And she's already got this amazing gimmick and like committed to the gimmick, making it work. I was just like, wow, really? I mean,
I didn't catch that, but that's insane.
Yeah, her wrestling shows that. She does very simple moves and stuff like that. But I mean, The Undertaker did simple moves, but it worked with the gimmick, and I totally get why. I mean, it totally works with her gimmick, and I don't know. I love Abaddon. Every time I see that she's on Dark, I get excited. I gotta sit down and watch that match. Yeah, she's the best.
In match number 5, we had the return of QT Marshall and also the return of Jack Evans and the Hybrid 2.
Yes.
So Jack Evans going over in this match. This was like, my favorite match of the night. I love seeing Jack Evans back, like the TH2. QT Marshall, always just super good. What'd you think of Jack's return? Any rust?
If there was any, he knocked it off really quick. This guy was just as smooth, just as precise, and like, this is a guy who does all the flippy flops and acrobatic stuff that the Hybrid 2 are known for, and it looked clean. And working with a guy who's maybe not best suited for the high spot style, QT Marshall's more of a classic professional wrestler, but they made these moves all look really crisp and clean, and no ring rust from Jack. I enjoyed it.
Very good match. In match number 6, we had Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. versus FTR.
If Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman are not calling themselves the Hollywood Blondes by next week, I'm going to be really disappointed. Like, these two looked so
the
good.
Hairdos, eh?
Yeah, they looked so good together, like as a tag team. And I mean, the Hollywood Blondes being Brian Pillman Sr. And Steve Austin's tag team back in WCW days in the early 90s. Brian Pillman Jr., he's got another good-looking kid beside him with long blonde hair. Like, I just feel like it writes itself. I know you don't want to necessarily just take the gimmick on, but I mean, they got to be a tag team. These two got to stay together. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought they were good. Yeah, FTR going over in this one, but really good match. In the main event, we had the Butcher and the Blade versus Private Party, and this is what you would expect from these two tag teams. Butcher and the Blade going over, though. Did you see this match? What did you think?
I'm glad Butcher and the Blade went over. It seems like they lose to named tag teams lately. They've been they kind of built themselves up since their return, and then they lose to the Young Bucks. I just feel like the booking towards Butcher and Blade has been a little off. I think these guys deserve a little bit better bookings. So it's good to see them go over an established tag team like Private Party. I enjoyed it. Decent match.
And we've lost the Lucha Brothers again. They're nowhere to be found.
Right.
I haven't heard of them for the last couple of weeks. So
yeah,
let's get Butcher and the Blade back on in the rankings.
Yeah, for sure. Quickly, I just wanted to mention at the end of the FTR match, they have a moment with Sean Spears, and we got to mention it because we talked about it last week. How, are they planning a 4 Horsemen revival with FTR? Tully Blanchard's been in the crowd watching all their matches. Who fits in there better, Sean or Cody? We both kind of picked Sean. So it was interesting to see them have that moment now. And they already got Cowboy Hangman Adam Page in their pocket, ready to go. So I think it's happening. Right. I think it's happening. I think we're going to see a foursome.
I missed that part. I'm going to have to go back. I fast-forwarded.
Oh, yeah. No, it was like right after the replays after the match, they had a little moment, a little fist bump with Sean Spears outside, so... Yeah.
All right.
Interesting stuff. All right, let's get into this week's Power Rankings. August 5th, 2020. Have we seen any changes yet?
There are a few changes this week. None in the men's division. We still have our 2 champions, Jon Moxley and Cody, going into Dynamite. MJF, the number 1 contender, followed by Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Brody Lee, and Darby Allin. In the women's division, Hikaru Shida still our champion. Nyla Rose, the number 1 contender, followed by Big Swole, Penelope Ford, Abaddon making the rankings in position number 4. She was there last week. She's up 1 position to number 4. And Britt Baker moving down 1 position to number 5.
Yeah, I mean, if we can just quickly mention how it seems like the guys who do well on Dark don't really get recognition in the rankings. Scorpio Sky being one of those guys. He mentions it in his promo. And,
for sure.
And here we have Abaddon up to 4th spot, only working Dark matches. So good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. Tag team.
In the tag team division, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, still our champion, and debuting in the number 1 position. So the number 1 contender is now FTR with a 5-0 record, followed by Best Friends in the number 2 position. Dark Order goes from position number 1 to position number 3. Young Bucks in position number 4, and rounding out the top 5 is Jurassic Express. So, FTR signs their contracts and boom, number 1 contenders.
I liked how that all played out. I like how that all played out.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
They were smart. I like it. All right. Well, let's get right into the meat and the potatoes of our podcast. AEW Dynamite, live from Daly's Place, August. What was the date? August.
Not what I have written.
Yeah, no, that's right. You're confusing me. August 5th. August 5th, 2020. Excalibur still not back. I haven't heard
Have you heard
news.
anything?
No, I haven't heard any news yet. I'm assuming they're trying to keep this kind of under wraps, a little bit quiet, mainly because this is, like we mentioned last week, it's been dealt with before. But it's unfortunate. So, Sammy was gone for just shy of 2 months. So hopefully we'll see Excalibur back for All Out. I think All Out would be missing something if Excalibur wasn't there. He was there for All In. He was there for the first All Out. I just think he deserves to be there. It's unfortunate, but he didn't deserve this.
Are those guys still getting heat for all of this?
I haven't heard any more.
On social media?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard any more. It just seems someone decided to be a jerk and dig something up. But We talked about that last week. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, check out last week's episode. All right, let's move into the first matchup of the night. Dynamite just started. Everybody was in the ring. We're starting with the 12-man tag team match, and I mean, last week we started off with this 10-man tag. It was trash. I buried it as best as I could bury it, and here we are 1 week later, starting off Dynamite with a 12-man tag match, and oh my God, was this the best match I've ever watched in my life. It was so good. And I'm not even trolling right now. This is how you do a multi-man tag match. Holy shit. It was so good. What were your thoughts?
I think the biggest difference is that we had more stuff in the ring.
Yes.
I thought it unraveled a little bit towards the end because there was more of the outside stuff. And you just can't capture all of that.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. You had sent me a text. I wasn't watching at the time, but you sent me a text and said something to the effect like, this is how you do the match right.
I think what I said was, this is already better than last week. And it was like 10 minutes into the show.
Yeah, I was like, wow, 10 minutes. And so I didn't know this match was going on, but when I did get a chance to watch it, I totally know what you meant. It was very good tag team wrestling, even with 5 people in the ring, just doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole match layout was great, and we saw some of the storyline continuing, with Kenny and Paige, FTR. Unfortunately, Dax goes down. As soon as he gets tagged in, he does like one move, and then he goes down with a knee injury, and it's Cash and Hangman who help him to the back. And essentially this becomes a 6-on-3 handicap match against the Elite, which I thought was just a perfect touch to make this an even more entertaining. Omega and the Young Bucks, they do their best. They really fight it off. Hangman makes the heroic comeback at the end, but unfortunately they just come up a little short. The numbers kind of get to them. Dark Order takes this one. Man, was this good. Oh
yeah,
I was so happy.
Evil Uno and Grayson again. Oh, I feel like
stole the show, really.
They stole the show on this one. And what about this number 9?
Okay,
did you catch this?
I mean, is that like, I had to tweet it out? That was Brandon Cutler. It had to have been.
I saw your tweet, and I'm watching, and I'm like, I don't know. This guy seems too small to be Brandon Cutler. Like, Brandon's muscular.
But he was wearing a loose button-up shirt and pants. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he was tall. He was skinny.
Yeah.
He looked small because he's standing next to Brody.
I watched Dark after I watched Dynamite.
So did I.
And I was like, wow, you might be right. Like, Brandon's not as big as I had it in my mind.
And especially when you're standing next to Brody. And I think, like, I mean, I've used this term before, but like kind of my smoking gun evidence is when 9 gets tagged in, he like goes to the corner and just jumps to the top rope and does like a springboard from the corner. I've seen Brandon do that. And I was like, ooh. Now, before I actually hit like tweet, I was just like, hey, am I sure about this? Have we seen 9 before? To me, 9's a new character. I don't know if we've seen 9 before. And I was kind of freaking out, but I was like, screw it. No one looks at my Twitter anyway, so I sent it out. But, I don't know. I think it was Brandon. He was just there to fill in a body spot because 3 and 4 were busy later in the night, which we'll get to. So, I don't know. Who do you guys think number 9 was? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. Great match. Oh my lord. I can't tell enough of it. Little bit of a spoiler though, earlier before Dynamite happened, Dax tweeted out a picture of him in a walking boot. So I was kind of confused. So I wonder if he was, I'm okay. I can do this one spot, but I probably shouldn't do a whole match. So he must be working through a knee injury right now, and they're making it work. But yeah, more news on that later. Hopefully we'll get some updates on what's going on with Dax Harwood. Quickly moving on to the next segment, we get the best friends rolling up in the minivan, but no Sue this time. I was a little disappointed. What did you think of how the best friends rolled up to Dynamite?
Initially, you can recognize the van right away, right? And you're thinking, well, we get these all the time, especially on Vanilla, right? Oh, yeah. It's just a roll up a vehicle, and then, we get presented with somebody. But we knew who it was. But the announcers are what make this segment. And they say that, Sue said they told these boys that they needed to park this van in a safe place. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I feel like we're coming back to this van sometime later in the evening.
Yeah. I love how, it's such a subtle little detail, but I love how, like, H as F, the best friends tried to look coming out of this Honda minivan.
With their suitcases on wheels.
They kind of slam the doors, and Trent kind of whips the wheeler around, and they walk off like they're the coolest shit. I'm like, you guys showed up in a Honda minivan, but it's all good. Yeah, I liked it. But yeah, like you mentioned, it was just like JR mentions that they were told to park it in a safe place. So I'm like, that thing's getting messed up. But we'll come back to that later. Also, I think we went to commercial break after that. When we come back, we get a promo with AEW champion Jon Moxley talking about his main event match against Darby Allin later tonight. Again, Moxley really nailing home these promos, especially as a babyface. I mentioned last week how I've always, heard him on the mic as a heel. So it's really refreshing seeing him pull off these face promos. I really liked this one, and he said exactly what he needed to say. Gassed up Darby.
Yeah. The most intriguing part is he said that Darby's his favorite guy in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the message was I know you're not going to stop fighting, and you just need to stay down.
I hope when the time comes, you stay down, I think is how he says it. And it was a great promo. I like how he gasses up Darby. He's my favorite guy, but I'll still put you down if I have to. And when the time comes, I hope you stay down, which translates in the match, but we'll get to that when it comes around. Let's move on to the next matchup of the night. We get to see the best friends versus Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. What'd you think of this match?
I thought it was a decent match. To me, there was really no highlights. They just did a best friends. Proud and Powerful was, just their classic style of match, and just overall good, no botches. Really liked it.
Yeah, it was really solid. They did some high spots, towards the outside. Proud and Powerful really working the heel side of the match. Really grinding into Trent. Like, Trent took some punishment in this match. And again, we talked about it quite a few weeks ago now, but it was a change of pace to where Trent's taking the work, and Chucky's coming in with the hot tag and cleaning it up. So continuing that form with the best friends. They go over. They kind of squeak one out here. Ortiz does the classic kick out after 3. You got to keep yourself looking strong, brother. It was a Hulk Hogan trademark there. He always kicked out after 3. I'll do the job for you, but I mean, I'm going to keep myself looking strong. So I like that little subtle detail from Ortiz. And as we'll see a little bit later, this rivalry isn't done for sure. Okay, let's keep rolling through with the next segment. It was announced 2 weeks ago that we were last week that we were going to be updated on MJF's campaign to become the AEW champion. I was expecting another, in-ring promo with the podium, the whole 9 on this one, but they kind of went a different direction, which was almost refreshing. And, they're backstage. He has a whole kind of conference area, filled out with, campaign. He's got Lee Morrison making buttons or separating M&Ms or something like that. And the other guy was making buttons. And I don't know. It wasn't the best segment in the world, but I mean, at least...
Is that Lee Johnson?
Is it Lee Johnson? I thought it was Lee Morrison. But that's Lee.
I think it's Johnson.
Oh, okay.
But it's him, right?
Yeah, that's him.
Like we've seen him wrestle?
Yeah, he's on Dark.
And there's a new character now, Nina.
Is that what her name was?
What'd you think of Nina?
I mean, I noticed her last week. She was kind of the campaign manager, if you will. I was just trying to recognize her. Like, have we seen this girl before? Because I recognized Lee right away. So I was like, have we seen this girl? I don't think we have. I don't know. I don't know if she's an actual wrestler, but I mean, she's playing this part really well.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah. I like the, what are the pulls? And they show the graphic and MJF's leading the pulls.
100%.
Moxley's in the minus.
Negative 88. Yeah. It's clever. It was clever. But like I said, it wasn't the best kind of segment. I thought it was just a little vanilla for me, if I can say that. But it was kind of almost everybody else that made it just a little bit better. It's like MJF was kind of the vanilla part of this whole segment. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good take. Yeah. And I mean,
just the way Nina reacts when what'd you say, Nina? And then she gets a little bit louder, because she's playing scared. And I like how Lee's sitting there separating M&Ms. He's just like, well, I guess it's not level then. He was almost back talking. It was just like everybody else was really playing up to this, made it a watchable segment.
Yeah. But in the end, he gets a question from somewhere was it? I think it was Lee Johnson said, well, what if Darby wins tonight?
Right. Yeah, because essentially
you're talking about Moxley, but what if Darby wins?
Yeah.
And he calls Darby a 125-pound emo kid.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that would really suck if I had to face him for the title. And he says it very sarcastically.
Yeah. That was a little bit more MJF. Yeah.
Yeah. His you can say his acting not as good as his promos.
Oh no. But he's still young. He'll get better.
Yeah. But this segment leads to something that we will see later on in the show and we'll talk about. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. Let's move on to the next segment. Matt Hardy already in the ring. Again, we kind of touched on this in being the elite section, but Matt Hardy kind of coming out to the ring officially, kind of announcing that he's renouncing the gimmicks and the multiverse, and he's going to focus on being Matt Hardy, and he claims that this is for the fans. This is what the fans want. And I'm like, whose fans is he talking to? I want to see more Damascus. I want to see more version 1 and all. I like the split personality gimmick. I thought it was working. So I don't know where Matt's coming from. I get if that's a personal choice, but don't say that's what the fans wanted, because I don't think that's what the fans wanted. What did you think of the promo itself?
Yeah, it's really been unfortunate for Matt, things were getting hot. He just got there, and then the pandemic hit. and he just can't seem to get rolling in a story.
Right. And essentially, his debut was the first no fan show, right? Him and Brody Lee debuted
so.
on
Yeah.
the first. That was the first show with no fans. So I mean, yeah, it was a really unfortunate situation for Matt. But I don't know. I think he could stick with it a little bit longer. To me, it's working. But if he feels different, I mean, he's the one who's been in the business for 30 years. So you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. So, what'd you think of the promo itself? Like, I felt it was a little long.
Well, yeah, and I should say at this point in the show, I'm like, I felt like we had like 8 segments to 2 matches.
Yes.
There's just so many segments, but yeah, it goes a little long, and then he starts talking about Sammy and how, he didn't quite get the story with him, and then he was gone, and you're totally expecting that Sammy's gonna come out at some point. And I think he even says something about him coming out from under the ring on like a previous week.
Yeah,
and he starts coming out from under the ring just as he mentions that part. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, and I like how another little subtle detail that I caught was although Matt's kind of renouncing the multiverse, or at least trying to subdue it in a way, he's still, Sammy, I knew you'd come. Like that's a Damascus part or whatever, and then he turns around and it's not really a surprise attack because he's expecting it, and they do this awesome brawl. It goes to the outside, and I don't know, Corey and I had a discussion about this gig job. I'd be interested into what's your take on it. Is this a matter of not blading in a while because he's been in vanilla, or did that leg of the chair catch him in the forehead and bust him open? Because holy smokes,
Did you see the after pictures?
Yeah, I did. Corey sent them to me today.
Okay, yeah. So that doesn't look like a gig to me.
No,
unless he did it with a really dull chisel or something like that. Because like that thing, it looks really swollen and really gaping, rather than just almost, a kind of sharp.
Yeah, almost
slit.
Like he it folded over, like it like dented the skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I really think Sammy just didn't get that chair flat enough when he threw it, and it rotated, and one of those legs caught him right in the forehead. Thank God it wasn't his eye. Damn near close.
No doubt.
But I mean, the job looked great. He's bleeding all over. Sammy had the gray sweatpants on. They were covered in blood. It looked great. And I kind of felt like, okay, you see that he's bleeding profusely. We got to get this segment over. But yet Sammy kind of took his time getting up the steps, takes his jacket off, does a run up. Like he kind of could have just did the spot a little bit quicker so that the doctor could get in there and help Matt out. But I mean, it still
does that good. Maybe indicate that this was a gig then? He wasn't rushing? Because I'm thinking if you're looking down and you see the guy's bleeding and he's not supposed to be bleeding, that maybe you do kind of rush more through it.
I'm thinking it was supposed to be. This was supposed to happen. There was supposed to be blood here, but I think maybe Sammy missed the fact that it didn't happen the way it was planned, and maybe mistakenly, naively took his time when maybe he should have hurried it up a little bit. But I mean, Matt's fine. I like how his wife, last night, while I was still kind of debating whether this was a gig job or a hard way, Matt Hardy's wife, Rebby, tweets out, "fucking dumbass." And it was just like, Okay, was that towards Matt for gigging too hard? Did he get a little too deep like Dustin did at Double or Nothing, or is Sammy the dumbass for throwing the chair sideways? Like, I just thought it was just that's all it was. There was no hashtag. It was just fucking dumbass, and it went out like right after that match. So I mean, I might have to start following Rebby Hardy, man. She seems like a funny lady. All right.
What did you think of this off the stage stuff from Sammy? Did he not get all the way around, or did he mean to kind of do it with the shoulder? It didn't look good to me.
It didn't look good, no. And I wonder if he decided mid-air, like was he going for the 630, or did he just decide mid-air that I'm not going to get around, so I'm just going to barrel into him? But I mean, that you're already bleeding from the forehead, and then you get, shoulder and head into the ribs, because he landed a little bit short too. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't the best Sammy table spot, that's for sure.
Tough day at work for Matt.
Yeah, Sammy's got ring rust. He's been gone for 2 months. Not like Jack Evans, who's been gone for 6.
Right. Yeah, he would have went over 3 times.
All right, well, this is where we go back to Sue's minivan. This time the best friends are not around. It's Santana and Ortiz who stroll up to the car, and classic vanilla spot here where they destroy the vehicle. What'd you think of it?
I was thinking the same thing. It's like, we've seen this on vanilla. Not that I think they're copying them, but I mean, it's a way to progress the story, I guess, with these guys.
It's a classic wrestling trope. We saw it in WCW, we saw it in WWE many, many times. This is just one of the things that makes good TV, where one, character A rolls up in a car, character B destroys that car, A and B have a fight. Like, that's just wrestling.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think the best part about this is that they're involving Trent's mom.
Yeah.
So, like,
Good
the
point.
spray paint on the hood says Sue with an X through it.
Right.
Kind of like, I don't know, they're going to go after his mom or something like that. Right. So, I think that makes it kind of different than maybe what they do on vanilla. And then, at this point, we're wondering, okay, what kind of answer are we going to get from best friends?
Right, for sure. Which we'll get to in a little bit, but let's get into the next matchup of the night. This is where we see numbers 3 and 4, Dark Order, Long John Silver and Alex Reynolds. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him his real name. I won't disrespect him anymore. He's been great on BTE.
You have to, because these guys were awesome in this match.
Were they ever? They're going up against TNT champion Cody and his new tag partner, I guess. His old friend from the road, debuting Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder. Great match. And especially coming from Long John Silver and Alex Reynolds. These guys, I mean, they were iffy in the ring. They were decent wrestlers. You could tell that they've been wrestling for a long time. They did everything solidly, but I mean, it just wasn't coming out that extra little bit. They really had that extra little bit, and maybe that's because they had a chance to actually do some stuff. They worked Cody for the majority of this match.
Yeah.
I liked how it all.
And I feel like they were really mimicking Grayson and Uno in the way that they were kind of double teaming and whatnot.
Interesting.
Putting these, moves together. Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
This match flowed so well. The tags, the quick tags in and out between Silver and Reynolds is really good. It was just really, really good. And I mean, Cody, like I said, he took the majority of the beating and he sold it well. Like, he looked like he was in pain with those ribs, and they kept attacking them. Eventually, we get the hot tag to Cardona. Cardona comes in and lays waste to basically everybody. Cody gets a distraction near the end that allows Cardona to hit the radio silence. Still not sold on the name, but he gets the win.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since...
Were you shocked that this wasn't a squash match? Because didn't we hear last week on BTE that they were going to give him a squash match?
Right, yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was this week's BTE.
That was on this week's BTE, but yeah, they mentioned that they were going to, be going into a squash match with Cody and Cardona. But yeah, it didn't end up
pretending to be Christian AF.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I totally forgot about that. But I was surprised that it wasn't a squash match, especially since when this match starts, we're already in hour 2.
Right.
Or damn well close to it. So it's just like, man, we still got this, and then we still got the debate, and we still got Big Swole and an AEW championship match. Like, this match can't be long. And then, it still goes like 10, 12 minutes. So, it was a great match. It could be argued match of the night, except for that awesome 12-man tag match.
Right.
Yeah.
And as Cody's going to the tunnel,
yes,
he runs into somebody.
Scorpio Sky. Following through with his promo that we heard on Dark. What do you think? I'm liking it.
I think that has to be a good match.
I feel like this is the best chance that we have of seeing a title change on a Dynamite. I think there's a legitimate shot that Scorpio Sky takes this belt off Cody. However, if I was, to put the points up on the line, I think Cody retains here, but it's going to be an awesome match. I bet these guys get 20 minutes to start the show off next week.
Yeah, for sure.
This is going to be a huge match. Yeah, I'm liking it. All right. As we get back to Sue's van, we see the best friends coming to assess the damage, and they put even more work since we've been gone, which I liked. If it was just the Sue on the hood and that was all they did, I would have felt a little cheated. But when we come back, the car's up on blocks, the wheels are gone. There's more spray paint all over the sides of of every side of the vehicle. I thought that was a great touch. It falls in line with Ortiz and Santana's characers. I don't know. I when they came back,
they did some work out there, eh?
They did, man. It's quick, man. I don't know,
because they only had one match to
right.
Get it up on blocks and spray paint the heck out of it.
They must have had a Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s pit team came and helped them out or something. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was
he
a good
always
touch.
got out first, eh?
He always got out first. Yeah. So yeah, and then they cut a quick little promo and how you can do what you want to us, but you leave my mom out of this. If you guys want another match, all you had to do is ask. We kicked your ass tonight. We'll kick it again. And it sounds like there's a match set for, I'm assuming, All Out. But we'll see. Was it official? Was there an official date set for a rematch?
I don't remember that. No.
So,
the only thing that seemed official was, when we beat you, you're going to have to apologize to my mom.
Right. On speakerphone. I love that.
I thought that was a nice touch.
I love these just subtle little things that the best friends do like that.
So good.
And their Trent's comedic timing is just uncanny. It's just unparalleled. You're going to have to apologize to my mom on speakerphone. So good. So good. All right. And then when we come back from that, we see Sammy Guevara coming out of the entranceway. He's got the cue cards. You're expecting we're going to get another promo, cue card promo during the commercial break. Unfortunately, in TSN land in Canada, we did not get picture-in-picture. At least I didn't. So you got it written down here. Did you happen to catch the cue card promo from Sammy Guevara?
I watched the American recording, so I did see it. So he, basically said, hey, Orange, if you thought, Inner Circle versus Best Friends was good, coming up next is the Demo God. And then the next card said, he's a master debater. And then he looks at it. And then he rips it off.
That's a classic. That's a classic Austin Powers joke, eh?
Yeah,
you may be a cunning linguist, but I'm a master debater.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
I like it.
And Sammy did it well. He's acting all cocky, and then when it got to that, and he, was ripping it up and pretending it didn't happen, and that was pretty much it during the commercial. And then we come back to the debate.
Did he call out any girls to give him a shout? That was kind of part of the gimmick. I think might be a little insensitive for him to do. So did he stay away from that?
He didn't do that. No. Yeah. As soon as he brought up that one card, he just started ripping it up and just kind of, it was done. He was done with, didn't want to make any more mistakes.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff from Sammy. Let's move on to the debate itself. Commentary. They were really gassing this segment up, reminding us that there was going to be a mystery guest moderator, and they introduced him first, and sure as enough, Towelie strikes again. Eric Bischoff, the guest moderator. I like that it was Bischoff, and I talked about that last week, that I think he could do well in AEW. He could have a spot there. What I don't like is the constant acknowledgement of TNT and WCW. We get it. We know it. They, as much as people don't like AEW talking about or making jabs at WWE and how they need to cut that out, I don't like the references and comparisons to the WCW. So it happened with Tony Schiavone right when Dynamite started. Oh, it's good to be back on TNT. Fine. But now Eric Bischoff, oh, it's so weird to see Eric Bischoff on TNT again. And no, this is a completely different thing. Let's separate ourselves from Nitro and WCW. This is AEW. I think if they can stay away from that and stop referencing the old WCW TNT relationship, the better this product can do. And that's my little rant for the week. What do you think of Eric Bischoff being on AEW?
I mean, I think it's good. He's super good on the mic. He proved that last night. Even kind of the off the cuff stuff, I thought it was good. So later on when he starts asking the questions and he responds to some of the answers, and I thought it was really well done. I agree with you. The references to, what was it, 24 years ago? It's 24 years ago. This is new. That's old. And it was done. And we're talking about, something that was a part of great history, but they lost.
Right.
So why keep bringing it up?
For sure.
Let's not put ourselves in the loser bracket. Let's put ourselves in, we're either different than vanilla or we're going to beat vanilla. You can't convince your viewers that you're going to run with vanilla if you're putting yourself in the same basket as WCW.
Yeah, for sure. Good point.
That's my rant.
Sweet. All right, well, let's talk about this debate. The format is that there's going to be 5 randomly chosen questions from various social media platforms. Each debater was going to get a chance to answer those questions. Going into this, I was really interested to see how they were going to play this all out and how they decided and how they executed everything. I thought it was perfect. I thought they nailed it. Like, I wouldn't want it any other way. This was a perfect segment. And it flowed exactly how you thought it was going to be. The first question, why does Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy hate each other so much? And Jericho goes on this little rant, explains how everybody in the world hates Orange Cassidy. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He's a pimple on the face of professional wrestling, and he does this whole thing. And then Eric Bischoff, Orange Cassidy, what would you like to say? And he doesn't say anything. And Jericho keeping it going. See, he doesn't say anything. This is, Orange Cassidy sucks and all this stuff. And then we get into the second question. Who is the better wrestler or the bigger star? And again, Jericho goes on a little rant. Orange doesn't say shit. And then we get question 3. Highlight of the night. As great as all the wrestling matches were and the spots were, this was the highlight of the night. The question being, global sea levels have been rising due to carbon emissions, blah, blah, blah. How do you fix this? Is basically this like super political answer, right? And Jericho, what the hell are you talking about? That has nothing to do with this situation. Why are you such an idiot? Bischoff and all this stuff. And then Orange Cassidy grabs the mic. Worst throat clear in acting history, but I think it just works because it's Cassidy. And how about this answer?
Yeah, he comes off super, super intelligent, eh?
Yeah.
Knows the issues and everything like that. And
slamming off stats about
Jericho's face was just like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So I don't know if
both of them did so well.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Old School, but this part reminded me of that. They're challenged to this academic Super Bowl basically, and they're doing a debate, and the dean's trying to screw them over. Everybody knows what the plot is, but they bring in this actual political debater to represent the school side, and he's going up against Will Ferrell. And the question's asked, and then Will Ferrell's like, I'd like to field this question. He takes a deep breath and just lays out this answer, and then he like comes out of it, he's like, what just happened? I blacked out. And they're like, dude, you nailed it. Like, that's what this reminded me of. I loved it. As we get into question 4, why is Orange Cassidy so popular? Again, Jericho goes on a rant. Cassidy has nothing to say. 5th question, why does this rematch mean so much to the both of you? Jericho gives his reason, and then we get...
He doesn't even get to finish, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He says the reason, and then he's cut off.
That's right. So we get the long-awaited promo, an actual wrestling promo from Orange Cassidy. I've never seen it. This is the first promo I've ever seen, and I think he nails it. It could have been better. It could have been a little bit tighter in some spots, but I mean, it was great. It got the point across.
I'm sure he was nervous. Like, if this was his first promo,
I mean, his first time on TV promo talking.
Right.
We can say that with for sure, so he did well, and I'm really excited to see this rematch. What did you think of the promo all in all?
I mean, it's super clever. I would like to know whose idea it was, because he basically agrees with Chris Jericho in that, yeah, I haven't been in the business as long as you, and this is going to be the biggest match of my life. But this is also going to be the biggest match of your life.
Right.
And then you see Jericho like,
why would this be the biggest?
Like, what are you talking about? And then he follows it up with, well, what if you lose to a guy that puts his hands in his pocket? What is everybody going to think about you then?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have to think that this probably has a bit of Jericho written all over it. But if this came from Cassidy, we're going to see some good stuff out of this kid going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's gold right there.
I feel like the plan is to pull Cassidy out of the sloth character in a way. We've seen it progress that way. I don't think he needs, I mean, we've talked about this before. He doesn't need to abandon the gimmick altogether. I mean, that's what makes him famous. That's what makes him unique. By all means, do that. But, I mean, we are talking about weekly television. That doesn't really fly every week on TV. So you got to do something else. And I think this is Chris Jericho's idea, or at least helping him out, get out of that mindset and branch off, make the character even bigger. I feel like this has Jericho all over it, but Cassidy nails it. I like the little line where he says, you've done it all in this business. We can all Google it later.
Yeah,
I thought that was clever. So that's the debate. Bischoff, and says, all right, guys, I've had some time to think about it, but Orange Cassidy is the winner of the debate. And Jericho's like, what the hell? No one wins a debate. And he goes off, and basically the attack happens. Hager jumps Orange Cassidy, damn near knocks him out, just like Starks did on Darby. He hit the middle rope pretty hard at the side of his head there. Stiff.
And then he punched him in the face.
Yeah, stiff.
Alex stiff.
Boy, I don't know if Jake just didn't realize that he was kind of leaning forward or what it was, but hey, he caught him pretty square, and it looked like he was a little woozy, I would say.
Yeah. And
then the Judas effect, that was stiff-ski.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. And maybe Orange told him, just give it to me. Like, let's really build this up.
Right.
Could be camera angles, but to me that was stiff.
For sure. Well, I mean, this is leading into a matchup next week with $7,000 on the line for Orange Cassidy. Remember, that was a stipulation that Chris Jericho added. If he won, Orange Cassidy would have to hand over the $7,000 for the jacket that was stained orange. Now,
can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because when Chris Jericho walks out for this debate and Jake is holding this jacket, I'm like, oh my God, they spray painted this thing. It's even more orange than it was the last week. Well, and then sure enough, does Jericho actually even say that himself?
Yeah, he's like,
I love that you're like mocking your own gimmick. It's so good. Like, he is the GOAT, man.
He's the GOAT. He is the GOAT. Since we've had another week, we kind of gave a quick little prediction of what we thought was going on with this match. We both said Orange Cassidy's probably going to win this match, sets up a rubber match at All Out. That's all good and golden. We've had a chance to see some promo building, some match building. What is your current prediction going into this match next week?
I still think I'm going to stay with Cassidy. Although, with that whole promo about, what's your legacy if you lose to a guy who puts his hands in his pockets, that makes it a little iffy for me. But I'm going to stick with Orange. I like the rubber match idea.
So, I'm still thinking Orange gets over in this match. I'm not gonna say he necessarily wins. I think Orange is going to have the upper hand, and it looks like he's going to win. And then there's going to be an interruption, a disqualification. So Orange is going to be the winner of the match. Jericho's going to kind of come out on top, which then sets up the rubber match in All Out. You know, because, hey, you couldn't do it without your bodyguard, Jake Hager, here. And then we get, you know, maybe Hager's barred from ringside, or the complete inner circle barred from ringside. Maybe Aubrey gets to do her awesome throw out at the beginning of the match. But anyways, we'll have a clean match at All Out. And then Orange Cassidy gets a clean win over Jericho. I think that's how it'll go.
All right. Bonus points.
But if we actually get that announced at All Out, we still don't know a card for All Out yet. We know Moxley versus MJF, but we'll get into that later. Let's move into the next segment of the night. We get to see the role model herself, Dr. Britt Baker. She's ringside. Tony Schiavone's there with a microphone, gives a quick interview. Basically just reminding everybody that, you know, Swole's off suspension. Part of the stipulation to get a match with Britt at All Out was that she had to face and defeat someone of Britt's choosing. So the question on everybody's mind is who are you going to choose? I mean, I knew from the moment I saw that this was an actual stipulation, she was going to pick Reba. And yeah, sure enough, she picks Reba. Reba does a really great job here, kind of like, oh no, really? Like I have to do this and get in the ring, Reba, and then she can't even crawl into the ring. I mean, we both know that Reba's an actual professional wrestler. Like she has a history. She's actually been in the business for quite a while, but she does a good job faking getting into the ring and stuff like that. And then Swole comes out. I mean, she did a good job at the beginning, but then all of a sudden you see that, yeah, this girl knows how to roll and take bumps, and it wasn't, the illusion was broken pretty quickly, and especially when she pulls out a moonsault.
Yeah.
But what'd you think of this?
I think that put the icing on the cake for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I this wasn't as squashy as I was expecting it to be. I honestly thought it was going to be like just a wham bam, thank you ma'am type match, especially since we're getting close to the, 45, 15 minutes left of the show, and we still got a main event championship match. So this match actually went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but I think it helps everybody in the situation going forward with this feud. So it was fine. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think they needed Rebel to kind of get some attack, because then she was doing all the waving at Britt saying, I'm actually doing it.
Right. Yeah.
Look at me. Yeah, I know. This is I'm loving the build up. I'm loving how it's a slow burn, and can't wait for the payoff. And we see Big Swole do the dirty dancing. I didn't know this is what her finisher was called.
I've seen it once on Dark, but yeah, not the best name for a finisher. It's not even a really good finisher, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Big Swole gets the win, expectedly so, and yeah, I mean, that match is basically set for All Out now. Britt Baker versus Swole. Let's get into another segment. Just as we're coming back from commercial, the commentary boys announced what we're expected to see next week on Dynamite. Looks like a really big card. We have a TNT Championship match, the American Nightmare Cody versus Scorpio Sky. Gonna be matchup of the night. I can almost put money on it. It's gonna be great. We also have the $7,000 obligation match, Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. I'm seeing here on the card that Inner Circle and Best Friends are banned from ringside. So maybe I need to take back my disqualification. Nah, they can still work their way into it. I'm going to keep my prediction.
Yeah.
All right. We also have, it is the Tag Team Appreciation Night. Tag Team Wrestling Appreciation Night. So we're going to get an AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Champions Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, as well as the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson versus the Young Bucks. Also on tap, the Rock and Roll Express, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson being, honored, acknowledged. They're making an appearance on Tag Team Appreciation Night, which is hosted by FTR. It's part of their contract. I'm interested to see how this whole night's going to go down, but yeah.
I feel like since these guys are banned from ringside, that being Inner Circle and Best Friends, I feel like they're going to be brawling in the back and they're going to come to the ring.
Right.
Because they have a feud and they're going to come to the ring and then something's going to happen. Right. And then I think your thing is going to
play out.
Yeah. It's not going to be a clean victory.
Yeah, this is not going to be a clean match, clean finish whatsoever. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's get into the main event of the evening. AEW Championship match, Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley, the champion. Darby kind of issued the challenge after last week's Texas Tornado tag match that they had against Starks and Cage. It should be noted that Taz lets us know that Cage and Starks were barred from being at ringside. They were not to be involved in this match at all, which actually played out, which is really cool to see. You know, usually when they make a point of saying something like that, you just kind of have a feeling that, I mean, just like we're kind of predicting with the Inner Circle and Best Friends being barred from ringside, you know, they're going to make their way into it. So it was good to see that Cage and Starks didn't make an appearance here. This was a hard-hitting match. Holy smokes. Darby,
right from the get-go.
Yeah, Darby just takes bumps. I think I made the comment last week. He just folds up like Sasha Banks. Like, he just makes everything look so much worse than it actually needs to be. But really solid match. Some big spots. Distraction from MJF. I'm going to say it. Besides maybe some of the false finishes in the Shawn Michaels Undertaker match at WrestleMania 25, one of the best false finishes I think I've ever seen. Like, I legit thought the match was over. After the belt shot, Darby plays it up, hits the coffin drop, 1, 2, and I'm pretty sure his hand touched the mat. But Mox kicks out. Yeah. And Darby's face, like, he thought he had it. I thought he had it. I was like, wow, this could actually work out. You know, I was already playing. While the third count was coming down, I was just like, hey, they could do this. They could do, like, I was writing the next couple weeks leading into All Out to get it back to Moxley and MJF, right? Like, I'm like, they could do this. But yeah, wow, what a false finish, man. It was insane. I popped so hard. What'd you think of the match?
Yeah, it was, you know, we haven't had a lot of great things to say about Jon Moxley matches lately.
Not lately. Not since he won the championship.
Yeah. But this was awesome story and executed really well. You know, they did some really stiff stuff. The throw off the stage into the ring post, like with no fans, you could hear him hit that ring post.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of brushed off it, but man, he really gave the illusion like he was just thrown into all that steel.
Is that where he busts open? No, that was the belt shot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
I really liked the second coffin drop that Darby gives Moxley, and Moxley catches him while he's lying on the ground.
Yeah, that was slick.
You have a naked choke, and Moxley's yelling at him to tap. I thought that was good.
And I was screaming. I'm like, don't you fucking tap, Darby. You pass out like a man. And, there's certain times and places where they don't need to tap, and that was one of them. Like, Darby should definitely not have tapped there. I'm glad that it went the way it did with the referee just kind of stopping him blacking out. So,
yeah.
It's good.
But, we see the paradigm shift, and Moxley retains. And, after the match, it looked like Moxley kind of picked up Darby's body there and was, telling him that, he was doing a good job and, great match, that kind of idea. Anyways,
I'm sure.
Imagining.
I'm not the best lip reader in the world, so I'm not sure what he was actually saying, but I'm sure that's what it was. Is just kind of saying like, I love you, kind of, this wasn't personal. You did great. I want to still be friends. I don't know how mushy he got, but it was a good visual of him like embracing, and Darby's just freaking out.
Yeah.
And as JR is throwing it to Saving Private Ryan next on TNT. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Oh, and then MJF is doing the Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, that's right.
Watching from the back.
Yeah. And he's
all
irate.
mad.
Yeah, he's irate that Moxley pulled it out, and it was a good match. It was a good finish to the show. Classic championship match. It's not always the match of the night, but it's important, and it did its job, and it was a good way to close out the show. This is an amazing show this week. Like, holy smokes! Can we talk about how good Dynamite was this week? It was unreal.
Yeah, it's like they're hitting their stride with all of the stories right now. Just everything's kind of figured out, and whether it's they're live now or they've got the taping figured out. I don't know what it is, but it's going really well.
I think Tony Khan needs a lot of credit here. I'm assuming he's writing the show, or at least loosely writing the show. He has an idea where he wants everybody placed and where everything needs to be, and then he's kind of letting everybody figure their own way out there. But credit's got to be given to Tony Khan, man. He's put together quite the roster of people, and it's really starting to show. And everybody's, like you said, hitting their marks. And
and the rumors are that we should expect to see more well-known wrestlers. Last week we got Matt Cardona, and I'm expecting that in the next little while we're going to see possibly some more guys.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see. A lot of Smarks out there will say, AEW's people only watch it because it's all ex-WWE guys. And I mean, I just gotta scoff at that. Like, well, yeah, where else are they gonna go? Where else are these, everybody's gotta work, and a lot of these guys that WWE let go are worth way more than WWE ever thought they were. You know what I mean? And why not go to AEW and have creative freedom and have that ability to show off what you never got to show off in WWE? The more the merrier.
Yeah. Can you even say that some of these guys were on WWE when, some of the best things we've seen from them was the 24/7 championship?
Yeah.
Like
Zach.
But, besides Moxley, who, was at one time the biggest thing in WWE. Yes. Even Cody, did he even get a title? Maybe
he was a tag title, IC title, but they were always those when Cody was IC champion, he would always fight undercard guys and lose in non-title matches. It was that era of the IC title where it didn't mean anything. You know what I mean? So honestly, if you really look at their roster, the only WWE guys they have are Jericho and Moxley. You could argue Hager was a big part of the WWE at one point. Matt Hardy. But these are still, they were never main event guys. And I mean, you can make an argument that Moxley was never really a main event guy. He had the WWE Championship for a while. He had a big storyline with Seth Rollins and stuff like that. But that was it. He was a United States champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, if AEW starts signing The Rock and Mick Foley and Steve Austin, then maybe I'll give those Smarks all right, you got one thing right.
Yeah, for sure. Like Impact in like 2008. That was WWE light. When like Hogan came to take over and all of a sudden he was general manager, and then Flair showed up after he supposedly retired, and then Mick Foley showed up. Like that's what AEW needs to not be. But to pick up guys like Matt Cardona, Tay Conti, Ariane, you know, these WWE stars or extras basically that are coming in and making their impact, Hager, Matt Hardy, yeah. It's just good business. So, yeah, to anybody who thinks that AEW is just exploiting their WWE talent, like, you're not even... If you go in watching AEW with that mindset, you're missing out on everything that they have to offer. You're just missing out on it. So smarten up and just watch it for what it is, which is great professional wrestling. I'm loving everything AEW does.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Well, that was a great show. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us comments below on what you think is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. You know, we're leading into another few big weeks of professional wrestling. We have the Tag Team Appreciation Night next week. We got All Out coming up at Labor Day weekend, as well as NXT TakeOver 30 on August 22nd. Big match, Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole. We'll see what he says. I don't think he's answered yet, but the challenge is out there. And I mean, I wrote it. I sent my written essay about how the storyline should play out to Triple H. He's just following through word for word, so it's guaranteed to happen. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out. Go fuck yourself, Jason Corvette, and go Jets, go. Go Jets, go.
Go Jets, go. Go Jets, go.